My girlfriend's mom pressured me to talk about our struggles until I broke down in tears. "You look at this relationship too complicatedly," she said, "but I just wanted to see us happy again." Now, after my girlfriend's silence, I'm left questioning if we're doomed. Hello, I apologize in advance for the long text regarding my experience, but I need to understand where the issue lies in my relationship and if I am at fault. I am a 19-year-old male, and my girlfriend is a 19-year-old female. We have been together for nearly 3 years, and everything was fine until last September. When September arrived, we began attending university and college, having recently completed high school. By mid-September, everything began to change. Typically, my girlfriend has occasional pregnancy scares, which I believe most people encounter at some point. However, she is a sensitive and quiet individual, reacting to situations with far greater intensity than I do or than I have heard from other couples. This heightened sensitivity caused her anxiety, leading her to overthink everything. Even with less than a 1% chance of being pregnant, she would convince herself of the possibility, entirely disregarding the 99.9999% chance that she was not. We had managed similar situations before, so I knew how to support her. I reassured her that everything was fine and advised her not to stress because her period would come. However, I think everyone understands that the more a girl stresses, the more her period may be delayed. Stress can also affect appetite, and she began eating less. The new environment of her studies increased her stress, contributing to her decreased food intake. Thankfully, her period eventually came, but it was more pink than red, which I understand could indicate a potential pregnancy. Additionally, it was shorter than usual. Consequently, she became nervous about it again, and I should mention that she remained anxious and hardly ate, only about half a meal per day. My girlfriend also tends to overthink certain matters. For instance, she became convinced that I was cheating on her because I attended a gathering with my classmates. She assumed I was drinking and talking to other girls, despite the presence of other guys at the event. Honestly, I would feel like a terrible person if I cheated on her, and I am loyal to someone like her. This overthinking began in mid-September and continued without pause. By mid-October, I suggested she see a therapist. I proposed this because her anxiety and overthinking were starting to affect me, impacting my ability to concentrate on my university work. I believed that seeing a therapist could help her address her anxieties, which had led to her significant decrease in appetite. This situation was also damaging our relationship, as I could not take her out into the city for walks or shopping since she lacked the energy to go out. Consequently, I often drove to her house only to find her lying in bed, unable to do anything. I did my best to support her. At times, she would cry because she felt incapable of participating in activities, such as going out. She even began skipping classes or only attending a portion of them because it felt too overwhelming. Over time, I continued urging her to consult a psychologist, believing it could aid her both in the present situation and in improving her self-esteem. Throughout November, the situation did not improve. There were moments when she expressed that her life was terrible and that she wanted to die. While I sensed some sarcasm in her words, it was incredibly painful for me to hear. Therefore, I kept suggesting she meet with a psychologist to discuss her situation. The longer her distress persisted, the more I recognized that she was thinking negatively and undervaluing herself regarding minor issues. I was relieved when she finally went. I believe it was toward the end of November, but unfortunately, it did not assist her, and she had no desire to continue with therapy. Additionally, her parents were not eager to fund sessions, as they were not financially well off. I was unemployed at the time, so I couldn't provide assistance either. Moreover, I believe that a person must genuinely want to seek therapy rather than feeling coerced into it. However, this entire situation began to drive me crazy over time. When December came, new challenges emerged. University exams were on the horizon, greatly increasing stress levels, and my mother began experiencing severe difficulties. She fell into depression due to her job in a prison setting, which was a consistently negative environment. I felt downright furious upon discovering that her coworkers were mocking her. This hardship contributed to her depression, compelling me to provide emotional support not only to my girlfriend but also to my mother. I could hardly imagine how I would cope had my mother taken her own life due to that toxic atmosphere. Thus, I needed to reserve time for both of them. I want to mention that my girlfriend's mother is nice, but she is also insistently generous. I do not feel at home there because she constantly offers food. For instance, if she offers me a pastry and I decline, she asks if I would like some chocolate, then continues suggesting various snacks until I refuse them all. In my own home, I have the autonomy to decide when and what I consume. There were also instances when I would decline her offers, but she would disregard my response and persist, as if she knew better than I what I needed, which really irritated me. On New Year's Eve, I went to my girlfriend's house, and we stayed in her room. By December, She was feeling somewhat better, though her appetite remained diminished, despite a slight improvement in her mood. However, it started to feel odd when she would eat without me. We had planned to enjoy sushi together in her room, but she told me to stay while she went to the kitchen to have something else. When she left, for reasons I cannot pinpoint, thoughts about our relationship and future began surfacing. Those months filled with negativity, overthinking, and stress had profoundly impacted my perception of both her and our relationship. It felt as if she was unwilling to help herself or make changes to avoid emotionally exhausting me. So, when she returned, I shared my feelings with her about our relationship. I expressed that we felt like different people, that I was unhappy, and that envisioning a future with her seemed increasingly difficult. I articulated these thoughts because I was struggling to express my emotions internally. I wanted to avoid being confined to her room, doing nothing if she was not willing to improve, through therapy or seeking help, to support our relationship. She could not express her feelings, resulting in a silence that lasted around 5 minutes. I felt the need to step away from her house, needing time to myself. Thus, I sincerely apologized and said that I needed to go home. As I went downstairs, her mother noticed my departure and followed me to the car, asking about everything happening with my girlfriend, including her stress, lack of appetite, and the current circumstances. I explained everything and sincerely apologized to her mother, indicating that I needed to head home. I entered my car, intending to leave, but her mother continued to pressure me with more questions regarding my girlfriend and our relationship. Each time I replied, I reiterated, "I am really sorry, but I need to go home, I need to be alone right now." I repeated this several times to ensure she understood I did not wish to engage further and simply wanted to leave as quickly as possible. When she inquired about what was happening, I shared my feelings regarding my relationship and how emotionally drained I felt, due to my mother's depression and my girlfriend's stress, lack of food intake, and anguish over 3 months. I felt overwhelmed to the point of crying in front of her, but when the tears started flowing, she finally left me alone and allowed me to go home. To me, the situation felt deeply unsettling because her decision to leave me alone only occurred when I began crying. It felt as if she crossed an important boundary by pushing me to this extent. After that, I returned home, weeping the entire time because I felt terrible. Simultaneously, I could not suppress everything I was feeling inside without informing my girlfriend. However, her mother soon began messaging me incessantly. I do not wish to revisit those messages right now as I do not want to relive that night, but one particular message has stayed with me: "You are overcomplicating this relationship." To me, it seemed she was implying, "Do not share your feelings, and simply remain with your girlfriend." The following day, I called my girlfriend and discussed everything. I apologized for ruining New Year's Eve. I acknowledged that I am at fault for behaving this way on New Year's Eve, but I was overwhelmed with emotion and felt an urgent need to leave her home to collect my thoughts. We talked and concluded that we should engage in activities together to strengthen our bond. Despite having ruined New Year's Eve, I can honestly say that since then, our relationship appears to have grown stronger. We talked through our feelings, expressed our emotions, but ultimately chose to remain together and were both committed to investing more into our relationship. Everything seemed fine between January and March, but a few things still felt off. She began eating more food, which pleased me greatly, but she would not eat in public or in front of me. In essence, when we communicated through text, she would inform me that she was eating at home, but whenever we went into the city, she claimed that she could not eat in public. The proposed solution? We would meet at my house to eat, but she also could not do that for some reason. I inquired if she felt anxious eating in front of me, yet she assured me that she did not. Although her refusal to eat in front of me may not seem like a significant issue, it used to be a special aspect of our relationship when we explored new foods, dined out, or cooked together at home. Now, with her reluctance to eat in front of me, the connection we shared before September feels as though it is diminishing. Furthermore, since she refrains from eating in front of me, she tends to leave earlier. Previously, she would go home around 7 to 8 p.m., but now, due to her need to eat at home, she departs around 4 to 5 p.m. This change has impacted our relationship considerably, as we currently meet only once a week on Saturdays at noon, translating to only about 4 to 5 hours of in-person time together each week, which feels inadequate to me. After New Year's, when her mother pressured me with questions until I started crying, I refrained from visiting her house for about a month because it would have felt awkward to encounter her mother immediately post-New Year. Additionally, to this day, I still find it unacceptable that her mother applied such pressure until I broke down. It felt as if she only backed off having seen me become vulnerable. After about a month and a half, I resumed visiting my girlfriend, but one Saturday, her mother was working. My girlfriend informed me that her mother would return home around 5 p.m., and she requested that I leave before her arrival. I assured her this would be fine, but she insisted that her mother would begin asking questions. Consequently, my girlfriend pressured me to go home, and I ultimately complied. As indicated previously, I meet with my girlfriend once a week for a few hours, so spending every hour together holds significant importance for me and our relationship. It deeply pained me that I had to leave early due to the situation with her mother. It felt as if I were being pushed away during our limited time together, which only heightened my emotional strain. Recently, my girlfriend, her parents, and her brother along with his girlfriend took a one-day trip to another country by car. In the past, her mother would continually invite or suggest activities for us to do together, such as planning trips. For example, she previously proposed that my girlfriend, her parents, her brother, along with his girlfriend and I could travel to another country together one summer. However, after New Year's Eve, it feels as though her mother harbors animosity towards me or does not desire to see me again. This change has been challenging for me as it appears that the previously welcoming atmosphere has shifted, leaving me uncertain of my status within her family. From New Year's until March, everything appeared to be fine, but recently I have started to notice changes in my girlfriend. I text her whenever she writes to me, but her replies take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, and often consist of just 1 to 3 words. She mentioned a bug in the Facebook Messenger app that prevents notifications for new messages, an issue I have encountered as well. Nevertheless, this delay began to foster a sense of disconnection, as she seemed to grow more distant, even if technical problems were the cause. I also asked her if she was happy, and she responded that she wasn't. When I probed further, she explained that her unhappiness stemmed from her studies, which she found uninteresting, and she felt as if she had lost a part of herself. She also conveyed that she did not feel fulfilled in our relationship, as she needed reassurance. This revelation struck me like a bolt of lightning, as I had not heard anything like it from her since New Year's. However, I also observed that she seldom expressed her feelings, requiring me to inquire if I wished to know her emotional state. This behavior does not align with my values because I have repeatedly communicated to her throughout our relationship that it is vital for us to share our feelings openly instead of keeping them to ourselves. Due to the limited time to text her and the infrequency of in-person meetings, I felt compelled to express my feelings about our relationship and to inquire about her parents' opinions regarding me. This time, I had not experienced a mental breakdown, rather, I simply needed reassurance. Therefore, I composed a paragraph outlining my thoughts and apologized once more for New Year's. I sent that message to her on Sunday, and although she saw it, she did not reply since she was with her family at that moment. Today marks the 3rd day without a response, which feels suspicious to me. Is this relationship doomed? I feel lost, as though I should not have shared my feelings on New Year's Eve. Story 2. Caught my girlfriend cheating with Tinder hookups after 4.5 years. I confronted her. I wasn't happy, she admitted. Now she's confused about our future and I'm questioning everything. Can I salvage what's left, or is it time to let go? Hello. I decided to write a post of my own in hopes that there is some advice here that could assist me, or at least help me determine the right path. I have been in a relationship with my girlfriend for 4.5 years at this point, 27 years old male, 25 years old female. For the last 2 years, we have been in a long-distance relationship due to my job. A couple of weeks ago, I learned that she had cheated on me with one-night stands found on Tinder. The way I discovered this was that she claimed she was feeling sick and would turn off her phone for a while to relax. We currently live separately, so I decided to check on her and went to her apartment, where I found a burner phone with Tinder on it. I connected the dots and it became quite obvious she had been engaging in casual encounters for some time. I decided to write a post of my own in hopes that there is some advice here that could assist me, or at least help me determine the right path. Her reasoning is that she was not truly happy in the relationship and did not feel appreciated by me. I acknowledge my share of responsibility in that regard. I have been neglecting her in the past few months due to work-related issues, which are changing now, and I was uncertain about where the relationship was headed and how our future might look. I also began to question whether we should be together. We are both quite individualistic and have had difficulties communicating our emotions and determining what we truly need from this relationship. At this moment, I believe she finally realizes the gravity of her actions and recognizes that they were irresponsible on her part, not even mentioning the betrayal here. Just on a human level, something could have happened to her. I decided to write a post of my own in hopes that there is some advice here that could assist me, or at least help me determine the right path. I believe what she has conveyed to me so far is the truth about the situation, and we have discussed the past, where things went wrong, and why we reached this point. Due to external factors, we have had to maintain long distance during parts of our relationship. I need to reside in another country for my job, while she needs to stay to complete her studies, and starting in 2026, I will be relocating again, currently residing in the country for 1 year. I feel somewhat conflicted about what we should do next and what would be best for her, me, or us. I have taken some time to reflect on my shortcomings in this situation, and I acknowledge that I have been a poor partner to her, so I understand her actions. The cheating still hurts me, and I believe there were better ways to address the problems than this, but that has already occurred, making it too late for me to attempt to rectify the situation. I decided to write a post of my own in hopes that there is some advice here that could assist me, or at least help me determine the right path. From my perspective, I am trying to process this situation. I will soon begin attending therapy and read the book after the affair to help me come to terms with what has happened. We are still in daily contact and have met on a couple of occasions requested by either party. My current assessment of her is that she is extremely confused, unable to love herself, has difficulty understanding why she did what she did, and feels somewhat mentally blocked in terms of addressing it. Since the situation is somewhat unstable, she has also started drinking as a result. I made sure to contact her best friend, and she visited to care for her for a while. Her family is also aware and is trying to comprehend what has transpired, she informed them. I did not pressure her to do so, but I did suggest it. I realized at some point that things are not so straightforward and that, due to both of our issues, the relationship was not fulfilling, leading me to view this as a necessary wake-up call. When we began our relationship, I was not in the right mental space, yet we still decided to pursue it. Regrettably, we never truly worked through our issues but rather swept them under the rug and pretended everything was fine. I decided to write a post of my own in hopes that there is some advice here that could assist me, or at least help me determine the right path. I was wondering if there is anyone here with a similar experience or someone who could offer support on how to navigate this situation, or if it even makes sense to pursue a resolution. I decided to write a post of my own in hopes that there is some advice here that could assist me, or at least help me determine the right path.